The world of cookieless is changing MarTech. The funnel fuel guys have a really interesting proposition that is going to impact both agency and brands, and our mission is to bring you content and ask the honest questions around what do we need to be looking at. Gilly, been in industry 20 plus years running a well-known agency. I'm really keen to get your perspective of agencies when it comes to MarTech. Firstly, do you think we're looking at the right information when we're considering MarTech for B2B marketing now? Or are we oblivious or ignorant? I hate using that word because I don't mean that in a malicious way, but are we oblivious to a problem that's out there and our data might not necessarily fit for purpose? What do you think?
I mean, there's been a lot going on, especially in the world of MarTech. You know, marketing buyers have become huge investors in technology over the last 10 years. There's often that want to chase the holy grail, that technology is going to fix the problems we have in terms of understanding what's going on with our campaigns, more efficient targeting, better measurement, etc., etc. And quite often we see that people are jumping into the technology quite quick. They're believing the technology salesmanship that's out there. Same with data, same with intent data, lots of other things as well. And it is a real challenge because most of the technology we see has been built for the consumer space. Even if we go back to something like Salesforce CRM, ultimately it's built on leads and contacts. Yet if you're at this event today, if you've been at this event for the last few years, people are all talking about account-based marketing and buyers groups. That's not what Salesforce was built around, that's not what Marketo was built around. When you then start looking at platforms like Google and Google Analytics, it's the same. They're really built around the consumer space. And it's a real challenge for B2B. We've found a way of adapting and trying to get information out of the system. And people have just, I think, now started to stick with that as a status quo. But I don't think it's good enough. And I don't think there's enough people demanding better because you don't know what you don't know at the end of the day.
So it's a really interesting chicken and egg scenario, isn't it? Because I'm sure if boardrooms within brands giving away media spend were aware of some of these problems, tougher questions would be asked, right?
Yeah, sometimes as well, you know, media budgets are often some of the biggest expenditure that marketing teams go through. And sometimes we get to that point where we know we need to put our name out there, we know we need to reach our audience, but how efficiently are we doing that? How much quality is in there? And what is the true impact of that are constant challenges, and they're not changing fast, but I think, you know, as a whole industry, agencies, partners, brands, we all need to push a little bit harder and set our expectations higher.
So we've got a moment in industry at the moment, the economy's pretty tough for everyone, we're all having to work harder, we're having to justify how we spend and where the returns are coming from. So industry really is crying out for a B2B first solution then?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, like I said, for many, many years we haven't had a choice. There's not a B2B version of Google Search, there's not a B2B version of Google Analytics, right? For a lot of people there hadn't been a B2B version of a programmatic advertising platform as well. And we need that to change. We can't necessarily fight against the power of Google, but there are areas we can push against as well. And, you know, seeing what the likes of Funnel Fuel and what other people are doing here today, I think we're starting to slowly to raise that awareness that there is a better option out there, or there is innovation coming that will deliver a better option for true B2B brands in the future.
Talking about that cookieless scenario, Google have just managed to get another delay. I've been asking the same question of everyone and I've been getting different answers from everyone. Are we going to see another delay from Google, or are they going to be finally forced in spring to act?
I'm not a betting man, but I would say it's definitely possible there could be another delay. I sort of hope there isn't, because the more they delay, the more brands and everyone else kicks that can down the road as well. And we shouldn't be kicking that can down the road. To give you an idea, we all knew GDPR was coming, and yet I've had conversations in the last couple of months with technology brands who are still complaining about the lack of data they have in their systems because of how much they had to rip out because of compliance due to GDPR. And if they weren't ready for that, I doubt many people are ready for cookieless today. So those delays push out that urgency around making a change. And ultimately, to be ready for cookieless, there needs to be a strategic investment in first-party data. And that strategic investment won't come if people think they can just pass that problem off to next year. So we have to have that sense of urgency, whether Google do it next time, the time after, or the time after that.
Why isn't there more awareness around this? As marketeers, as agency heads, we seek information, we want to be informed.
Yeah.
And it seems like we're all kind of just bumbling along without anyone telling it how it is with the problems that are afoot.
I think there's two things going on. I think there's a lack of conversations like this at the moment. There's a lack of content in the market. You know, that there are shoots of improvement that is helping. The conversations happening here today. There's been recent articles in DigiDay on B2B marketing, but I'm assuming if we looked at the Google search trends, cookieless and for B2B is probably not anywhere near where the search trends were around GDPR. People don't seem to have that urgency around it at the moment. They don't really seem to understand it. And I think it's our job, collectively, to start shouting about this a lot more at the end of the day. You don't know what you don't know. But let's be fair, right? Every marketer I work with at the moment in an agency are under pressure, budgetary constraints have become lower, everyone's asked to do more with less. You know, a lot of marketers are just trying to keep the lights on right now and trying to keep the motions going. So they don't have the time, the space and the resource to take a step back and go, strategically, what do I need to invest in today to make sure I'm in a safe, profitable, efficient, sustainable growth methodology in 1 and 2 years' time.
Yeah.
And that's the pressure that businesses put under their marketing teams at the moment. And I think that's the effect we're seeing. Because otherwise, people would have had that strategic approach to data and would have invested far more in first-party data. You know, it's not all bad. There's a Forrester Salesforce survey that I think said 68% of businesses plan to invest more and focus more on first-party data. But wanting to do it versus doing it, as we all know, are two different things.
Gilly, it's been fascinating to talk. I could genuinely talk on this topic a lot more, particularly to a fellow agency lead. You can understand why B2B Ignite were keen to get Funnel Fuel here, starting this conversation. This isn't about scaremongering audiences. We've been saying that all day. We want to bring you content, whether you've got an agency hat on, a brand hat, whether you're an operator, whether you're a boardroom executive managing budget, you need to be aware of what's coming so you can plan accordingly. And as Gilly was saying, that strategic roadmap and considering your first party data, take a look at the content we've got up on our socials. It will help educate you on this topic. You need to get ahead of it. Thanks for watching.